Welcome to our section of Camtasia Recorder. When you bought Camtasia, Camtasia Recorder came as part of it, so you're ready to use it right now. So let's get started with the basic. I'm going to show you the interface, and I'm just going to bring up Camtasia Recorder here. This is the basic interface of Camtasia Recorder, and I find it pretty intuitive to use. We have here in the left area, we have the select area, and you have your option here to record full screen. If I click on that, you can see that little green dotted area that goes around my whole screen right now. Or I can choose a custom size, which is what I typically do. You have some preset sizes in your customs, and 720p is what I usually record on. It's the one you see right on the top there, 1280 by 720. And I'll show you in a moment how to select that. You can just choose it right here actually if you want to, or you can also choose a custom size. So you have all your presets right here, or you can choose a custom size. You can say, for example, 500 pixels by 500 pixels, and you would have a little square area. Depending on what you're doing, if you're doing a demo of something very specific, that might be worthwhile for you to do. Typically, when I'm creating any online videos, though, I'm sticking to 1280 by 720. Now, the problem with that is this may not be the exact area that I want to record. As you can see here, I've just put up Word in the background just so we have something I can show you. And the area that's highlighted right now, as you can see with the green dotted area, shows part of my bar on the bottom and doesn't show any of my menu bar on the top. Now I can go ahead and I can move this area around. So if I want to, I could show this area. Doesn't help me much now I'm showing the top menu area. However, part of my page isn't visible. So what I would recommend is that you scale this dimension, but in order to scale it well, you want to lock it in, because if I just start dragging here on the corner, you see it's flexible. I can scale it to anything I want and it'll take it straight out of proportion. So this is not what I want. So I'm just going to bring this back to 1280 by 720. And you can see the dimensions right here. And right beside the dimensions, you can see a little lock. And if I lock this in, it will maintain my aspect ratio. So I'm just going to take this now. And you can see as I drag this, make it bigger or smaller, it's taking it in a way that it remains that proportion. It stays in the size I want it to be. So as I scale my video later, it'll stay in the widescreen proportion I want. Problem with it is I still have a little bit kicking out here on the right, as you can see. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to minimize my program. And this is just a little trick I typically use. And I'm just going to put it right here in the corner. And I'm just going to make it just as wide as my recording area is. And I'm just going to bring it down also to the green bars on the bottom. And voila, I have something that works for showing the size for my recording. This is typically what I do in preparation before I start recording. So this is your select area we just talked about. And I have it locked in nicely now for when we're doing a recording a little bit later. And it'll be in proportion. I always want to make sure that I have something behind it that's not a big deal for anybody to see. But in this case, we don't have a problem. There's nothing critical here. The next area I want to show you are the recorded inputs. This is this area right here. And I can choose if I want to turn my webcam on or off. In this case, I'm going to leave my webcam off because I'm going to do a screencast. But I can turn my audio on. And I can input from the Yeti, or I can choose not to record the microphone. In this case, I'm actually doing the recording already with a secondary recording. In order to record a recording software, you have to use another recording software behind that. So I'm already using Audacity, which we have talked about in an earlier lecture, to record my audio already for this particular lecture. So for the purpose of this recording, I'm going to leave the audio off, but typically you would turn the audio on and I would set it to my external microphone, which might be a lapel mic you're using. In this case, it's the Yeti microphone that you would be using for this recording. Those are your recording inputs. Pretty easy to use. There's nothing complicated about it. The whole program is pretty intuitive to use, as I mentioned. And the next big area here is the record button. As soon as you want to start recording, you can just hit on the big red button, very easy to use, or you can also hit the F8 key on your keyboard. That's your hot button that will also start the recording. You can change that in Tools, Options. You can go into the hotkeys and you can change this for recording, stopping, for markers, screen draw, or selecting region to anything you want. Default is F8, works for me. I typically don't use it, I use the record button, but you can change it to anything that works for you. Another little thing I want to show you in this section here, where I show you the interface, if you go under Tools and Recording Toolbars, make sure you have selected what you would like in your recording toolbars. So statistics shows you some additional information. Effects you need in order to show certain effects that you want to add to your recording. I would recommend you keep that on. And also the duration will show you how far you've already recorded. Those are recording toolbars that are very handy to have. You can turn them on or off, whatever works best for you. I typically keep them on. So that is the overview of how the interface looks for Camtasia Recorder. And in the next lecture, I'll take you through how to do an actual recording. We'll get over to that right now.